Hello, everyone. My name is Philip Edu. I'm going to talk about qualitative analysis tools. There's a lot of tools around to help you to analyze your qualitative data, and you'll be wondering which one is the best tool for you. Do I have to use the traditional qualitative analysis software, or should I try to use AI? If you have questions concerning what tool that you have to use to analyze your qualitative data, this video will be very helpful for you. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to address them for you. And if you want me to also go into detail about some of the tools, let me know. I'll be able to do that for you. Right. Let's start by defining what qualitative analysis is. Qualitative analysis is all about trying to make sense of your data, right? What you are doing is that you are going through the data with the research question in mind, identify information that you think is significant. Then you have to develop a label, which is a code to help you to address your research question. After developing a code, you can also categorize the code to develop themes. So this is a traditional way of doing the analysis. It's called thematic analysis. There are other specific data analysis strategies like content analysis, and there's another one, discourse analysis, and other qualitative analysis that I'm not going to cover that, but just think about the qualitative analysis as making sense of your data. You are trying as much as possible to reduce the data so that it will be easily consumable to your audience. You can do the analysis manually. So manually means that you are trying to go through by yourself without using any tool or without using any software. By just going sentence by sentence, identify information that are significant and developing goals and team to address your research question. But sometimes it's difficult for you to do it manually, and especially in terms of organization, how to organize the codes and then connect the evidence to the code. It's a very difficult job if you are not using any software. We have the traditional qualitative analysis software. We have NVivo, we have ATLAS.ti, we have a lot. We have Mass QDA, we have QDA Minor. We have so much, but the ones that I'm going to talk about is NVivo and ATLAS.ti, right? So they are traditional because they have been there for a long time before AI coding or AI tools came to also help us to make sense of our data, right? So in terms of NVivo, so this is what you do. You open NVivo and then you upload all your transcript. I have a lot of videos about how to use NVivo. You can check my channel and you'll be able to get all the information about how to analyze. But this is just an overview. So you upload all your transcript. You see that I've uploaded all my transcript. And then you start a coding process. So you just open one of your transcripts and you go through, you click on codes. After you created containers for your research question, you identify information that are significant. When you identify that, you create a container, which is a code under the respective research question, and then drag and drop this information into the code that you have created. So that's all about NVivo. There are many functions that as I said, I have videos that talks about almost all the functions, right? And then and also we have Atlas.ti. Atlas.ti, the function is quite similar to NVivo, where you upload all your transcript, you go to import, you import all your transcript, and then you have all your transcript here. So you can see that I have my 5 transcript. And then you start the coding process, you double click on it. But before you do the coding, you have to create containers for your research question. So you have it here, the container for the research question 1, and a containers for the container for the research question 2. And then you develop codes. You see all the codes down here. So see the traditional way of analyzing your data using a software as organizing tool. It helps you to extract all the evidence from the data and then put those information into a container, which is a code addressing a specific research question. After that, you can do some visual representation. You can do some graphs. You can do table. And so you have a lot of options here when it comes to using the traditional one. For the traditional one, Technically, you are doing manual coding because you are going through the data by yourself. You are making sense of the codes by yourself. You are selecting information that are significant based on a research question by yourself. Yes, it especially when you have in vivo, it has auto-coding function that can automatically go through all your data and extract information that is significant. But the limitation is that the information the system might extract may have nothing to do with your research question because the system doesn't know your research question, right? So the auto-coding is not all that useful, but this one is very useful if you want to manually go through your transcript, identify information that are significant, and develop codes and theme to address your research question. NVivo also has AI function in there. So when you go to home, you see the AI assistant here. So this one you can help you to summarize your data. It can also help you to develop codes. But before you develop code, you have to extract all the information that are significant from your data. So you see that you have to work a little bit for the system to help you. So you extract all the information that are significant, drop them into the research question container, and then the system will help you to develop codes addressing the research question that you have. I have a video on that. If you want to know more, you can check my YouTube video, or I'll put the link here so that you can get access to it. So that's general information about NVivo and also ATLAS.ti. ATLAS.ti also has an AI function that you could use. It can go through all your data. The good thing about ATLAS.ti is that if you want to use the AI function, you don't have to go through the transcript yourself. You just have to select the transcript that you want a system to go through and identify information that are significant, addressing the research question because this system, there's an option for you to put your research question inside for the AI to know the question that you want to address, which is a little bit different from NVivo, where there's not an option for you to put your research question for the AI to know your research question. But because you have provided evidence in relation to your research question, the themes or the codes that a system generates are more likely to address your research question. So there's a positive side and negative side. What you have to do is to ask yourself, what role do I have to play analyzing my data, and what role do you want AI within NVivo or ATLAS.ti to analyze your data? So this is just a brief information about a traditional way. Normally, if I were to analyze my data, right, because now using of AI to analyze your qualitative data is not generally acceptable, it's gradually becoming acceptable, but it's not totally acceptable within the qualitative research community. I will use NVivo or any traditional AI, traditional data analysis tool to help me to make sense of my data by me going through all the transcripts by myself and identify information that are significant. But what I can also do is that I can incorporate AI into it. How do I do it? I can use the AI function within NVivo to make sense of my data. And when I'm reporting, I have to be also transparent. I have to let my audience know that I use AI to help me to analyze my data, but I have the final say in terms of whether to accept the themes or the codes that AI is suggesting to me. You can also use ChatGPT or any AI tool to help you to decide concerning the kinds of codes that you want to use. For example, you can use ChatGPT to go through your transcript, identify information that are significant, and develop themes, right, or codes, and then you can bring the codes back to your traditional software like NVivo, right? So you see how AI can play a supportive role. Your role here is to make sure that you are documenting the role it's playing and you be ready to share the role that AI played in making sense of your data. So that's what I would do for now. As time goes on, where a lot of researchers accept the use of AI, then I can fully use AI and then explain the steps that I took to make sure that every information is credible. That will take some time, but we will get there, right? We will reach a stage where a lot of people, or a lot of researchers will accept the use of AI to make sense of your data. So one thing that you have to do is that check your institution and see the requirement. Do they allow you to use AI to make sense of your data? Yes, if that is the case, that you can use that. If you have small amount of data, right? Like this one, I have only 5 transcripts, and each of the transcripts I have about 1 page or 2 pages. It's not a lot of data. So this one I can manually code my data, right? I don't have to use AI to code it for me. But if I have a huge amount of data, maybe 10 participants, and each of the transcripts you have about 12 pages or 15 pages, you can use AI to make sense of your data, right? So you can use ChatGPT. I have a video on how to use ChatGPT to help you to make sense of your qualitative data. With ChatGPT, you can upload up to 10 transcripts, right? And then, so if you have about 20 transcripts, you have to upload them in batches. You upload the first one and it asks the system questions about coding your data. And then you can upload the next one, right? You just have to make sure that the system goes through all your transcripts because sometimes the challenge here is that you don't know whether the system read everything. You don't know whether that ChatGPT read every word in your document or in your transcript, right? You're assuming that it went through everything and analyzed your data for you. So sometimes what you have to think about is that what is the context window of this software I'm going to use? The context window, think about it in terms of capacity, right? How much data can it analyze at once, right? So you always have to think about it because you don't want to give all your data to the system and then it went through part of the data and gave you the themes, right? And you thought the system went through everything. So in terms of ChatGPT, based on the research that I've done, it can go through about 53 pages of transcript at once, right? So this means that when you upload 10 transcripts, if it's within the range of maybe 50 to 53, then I think that the system will be able to go through everything. But if you upload 10 transcripts and all of the pages is about 100, the system will not be able to go through all the data. Although it will go through and give you something, it doesn't mean that it was able to go through everything. So you have to be very careful, know the limitation of the software that you are using. So if you have a huge amount of data, instead of using ChatGPT, maybe you can use Claude AI or Gemini. Gemini, if you have a lot of data, let's say you have a data that is about maybe 400 or 500 pages or even 1,000 pages, Gemini will be the best to choose from, right? So we can explore and do some tests here, but in a general thing, the lesson here is that know the context window so that you are 100%, maybe 99% sure or 90% sure that the system went through everything or every page to help you to analyze your data, right? So the tools that I will recommend, you can use ChatGPT, and I'll go over to I have a video about how to use ChatGPT to make sense of your qualitative data. And also I have a video about, how to use Claude AI to make sense of your data. And then we can also use Gemini, right? If you have a data that is about 50 to 53 pages, then ChatGPT can handle that. If it's more than that, what you could do is that maybe you can upload the information and let the system analyze your data in batches, right? If you have about 300 pages, then I'll recommend using Claude AI. It can handle a lot of pages. And if you have more than 300, like 400, 500 pages, let's say you are analyzing a huge amount of document, then Gemini will be the best, right? When you are using AI tool, I think one thing that you always have to think about is that you have to provide a system a lot of background information, right? The system has to know more about your study so that it will not give you general information. So let's say you are doing a research about burnout among primary healthcare physicians. You have to give the system the purpose of your study, the questions that you want to address, and what the data is all about. How did you collect your data? How many transcripts are you attaching? What do you want the system to do for you? And also, it's always good to do it step by step in terms of analysis. After giving a background, you can say that can you go through the data and identify information that are significant, right? And extract all of them and provide that information to me. After the system has provided that information to you, you have to do a little bit of reflection. Why? You have to do a little bit of verification, verify whether the system make mistake. ChatGPT can make mistake. It can provide you wrong information. So you have to verify. Check whether all the quotation are from the data. If you realize that it's not from the data, you can prompt the system to review the output and make sure that all the information are from the data. Or when you are given a command, you can say that all the information that you are going to extract should be solely from the data I've attached. Providing that information, the system will be able to provide rich information from the data, not outside, right? So it's very important for you to check and make sure that everything is right. After the system has provided you all the quotation, then you can go ahead and say that, okay, based on these quotations, can you develop codes for me? And you can specify the number of words for each of the codes. You can say that the code should be in between 2 to 5 words, addressing the research question and also representing the significant information you have extracted. It's very important to specify so that you can get rich information. Then you can go ahead and say, okay, can you categorize the code to develop themes? And then when you develop themes, can you create a table showing the codes that are connected to the themes and also maybe evidence from the data in supporting the themes? The system can provide that information for you. This is called prompt chaining. Prompt chaining is where you ask the system questions one question at a time, review the output, and based on the output, you ask further questions. And be doing that, you'll be able to get rich information from the system, right? And I think that's what I would do if I'm doing qualitative analysis. So this is what I have. We just want to test the context window of the AI tools that we have here, the context window. So we have 10 transcripts, right? So let me open one of the transcripts for you to see. So this transcript P1, we have 4 pages, right? So let's assume that each of them are 4 pages, right? So since we have 40 pages, we assume that ChatGPT can go through all the transcript. So let's do a little bit of test and see whether the ChatGPT will be able to go through all the transcript. I put a word red here in red right, in the transcript of P7. I'm going to attach all the 10 transcripts and ask the system to see whether to be able to identify where the word red is, right? So let's try and see. This will help us to see whether the system was able to go through the data. Is truly to just verify whether the system went through the data, right? So I've also put blue here on P9 to see when it asks the system, okay, which document has the word blue, would the system be able to find? If the system were able to find, we assume that the system was able to go through all the data. So let's go back to ChatGPT and do this test. So I've opened ChatGPT. I'm using the paid version, and I'm going to attach all the transcripts, the 10 transcripts here. And then after attachment, I can say that which of the attached document contains the word red. Let's see what the system, so we put a red in P7, right? Participant 7. Let's see whether the system would be able to do that. Yes, it was able to find it. That's good. It's an assurance that the system was able to read through all the documents. So this is the initial test that you have to do whenever you want to make sure the system read everything right from the data. You just hide a unique word in one of the data and you ask the system to look for it for you. Right. So I would say blue. What about the word blue? So let's see whether the system can find. We put blue in participant 9, right? So let's see whether the system can find that. This is a test that you can do to help you to make sure that the system read through everything. Now you have about 98% assurance that the system can read through everything that you have attached, right? Let's go to Claude AI. The Claude AI, I'm using the free version. I'm hoping that the system will be able to do that. So let me ask. I think Claude will pass. Okay, so let's do this. Let's guess. If you know Claude will pass, type yes. Type yes before I put the answer. Will Claude find that P7 has the word red? So, okay. Yes, it was able to find P7. Yes. So I'm going to also ask, what about blue? Remember, the blue is in P9, right? So let's see. Okay, so now I feel comfortable using Claude AI to analyze my qualitative data. I feel comfortable using ChatGPT to analyze my qualitative data. Let's try Gemini. So I'm going to attach. Let me attach this one. Okay, so let's attach. So now we are using Gemini. I'm using a paid version, right? Let's try Gemini and see whether it will find it. Let me see. Let me put this one there. Which of the attached document contains the word red? So let's see whether it will be able to find. Yes, it was able to find it. Perfect. Done a good job. So what about the one with blue? Let's see. Let's see here. Yes, P9. Perfect. So now I feel comfortable using any of these AI tools, ChatGPT, Claude AI, Gemini, to analyze my qualitative data, right? So this one gives you a little bit of confidence that the system will go through all your transcripts. So doing this test is very good. Put a certain unique word in one of the documents and ask the system to look for it and see whether the system can find it. Based on that, you choose the one that you feel comfortable, right? So after doing all these evaluations, right? So you have a lot of options, and I think the lesson here is that don't trust everything that the system will give you. Make sure that you verify, make sure that you check, make sure that you give background information so that the system will understand and provide you a very good information, right? So to help you to analyze your data, document how you interact with the system because when somebody asks you about how were you able to get these themes, you'll be able to provide that information so that they can also replicate what you found and also they can learn from you too, the strategy that you use. So being transparent and document the process is very important. The last one that I want to share with you is the Ailyze, right? So Ailyze is a qualitative software powered by AI that you can use to make sense of your data. You can attach a lot of documents, right? You can attach more than 50 documents for you to, and the system will go through all of them to give you a lot of information, right? Let's do the same test using Ailyze, right? So this Ailyze, a qualitative software which is powered by AI. So I'll go to my account, I click here, right? And I go to recent project. Then I go to create new project. Then I'm going to upload the files. So I click here to upload all the files. So I'm going to drag and drop the files inside this place. So I have all the 10 files here. And we're going to check whether the system can find where the red and also where the blue word is. when you go down here, all the 10 transcripts has been uploaded. We just want to do a simple analysis. So we're going to choose get answers to questions and frequency analysis, and then we click on next. And here you have to provide the research question. So let me look for the research questions and then let me look. So these are the research questions. Let's do only one research question for now. So let me copy the first research question. So I put the first research question here, and then I go to format format into list using AI. So you click on that, and then I go to create project. So before we let the system redo this test, the system has to first create a project. Okay, so we are waiting for the system to analyze and then we will come back. Okay, so it looks like the result is ready. So you can click on this one and then it will take you to see all the results. So the results when you click on the research question, all the answers will be there for you. You have all this, the summary and also the code that has been developed. But what we are interested in to find out whether the allies went through all the transcript that we provided to develop these results. If you want to do the same test, you click on chat to generate custom reports and analysis. So when you click on that, this is what you're going to see. So you have all the transcript here, and you can ask the question. So let's see. We're going to ask the same question that we asked ChatGPT and see whether the system will be able to show us which one. So let's see. So it's thinking, oh, yes, the system was able to identify red. Yes, it's P7. So let's try blue and see. So the blue one is P9. So let's see. Perfect, P9. This shows you that this shows you that the system went through the transcript, right? Because it was able to identify the words that we have hidden in the transcript. So this is another way of testing and helping you to decide whether ALIs will be the best. So it looks like um, yes, ALI is also an alternative for you to use it to analyze your qualitative data, right? You can also go to about and case studies. You see a lot of studies that have used this software to make sense of your data. So the Ailyze is you will upload your transcript and then you can also provide your research question. The system will also go through your data and then develop codes and themes. And you can also do visual representation. I have a video about how to use it. If you want to try that out, you can use it for free. But if you want to use the paid version, then you can use my code EDU30, ADU30, ADU30. If you use this code, you get 30% off, right? And also try it out and let me hear from you what you have learned. And if you have any question, you can also put it in the chat box and I'll be happy to address them for you. So these are the AI tools that you can explore. The message here is that if you feel comfortable manually coding your data, that would be the best, right? You collected your data, you can make sense of the data. But if you need a little bit of support, you can always use AI to get ideas about the themes and the codes that you have to generate. Or if you have a large amount of data that you are limited with time and resources, you can use AI to help you. And you always have to verify and make sure that the system can go through all the data. You can do the test that I did to just make sure that the system will go through all the data to get what you want. So this is what I have for you. If you want me to go into detail any of the tool, let me know. I'll be happy to do that. And make sure you subscribe to my channel. And also, if you need a consultation, you can also email me. I have my email address in the description section there. You can email me and then we can meet and have one-on-one consultation and I'll be able to address all the questions that you have, right? So thank you so much for your time.